this team gets more and more games behind it, this group from the last couple of years, how does the experience sort of show to you compared to the last couple of years when you were still feeling your ways?
Sure. I would say really the most important things is the timeout huddles, the pre-practice meetings. If practice is a little bit longer, just how we handle those types of things. Things just seem to be, they move along more in a less emotional way, and rather than being upset about a previous play or something that has happened previously in practice, we move on and address the next part and try to improve and get better at that. And so I would say those things, just more the everyday stuff, is probably smoother and then also handled with much more maturity.
Mason is in a similar situation. They come in on the road as an underdog like they were last week against VCU. You said it's more so about what you guys need to do as opposed to Mason. Do you mention that game at all to your guys about not overlooking what this team is capable of doing?
We do, and we talk about it with all the teams we play for the second time. And I've mentioned it a lot. I think the advantage goes to the team who lost in preparation, just because they're looking to change everything, and the team that won wants to keep everything exactly the same. So, but it's more about us and our execution and how we're playing. But we will mention it. We will talk about particular things that hurt us, or particular players that hurt us, obviously, especially Green. And then how we were defensively, and hopefully we've improved that will be better defensively tomorrow night.
Right now? It's different than this time last year. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed kind of the atmosphere being different around the guys? Just kind of the more you win and the more you pick up momentum. Now that we're in February, it's a grind, I know, but it might be easier just kind of given the circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. Winning takes a lot of the stress out of the team and out of the situation. So, I feel like guys are. I thought we competed and played and did all those things last year, but when you win and there's more of a positive feeling, it takes a lot of the stress out of it. Helps you probably, what you're concerned about is feeling too good or getting complacent, but it does help you in terms of your energy and your focus, because you are feeling good about the last game and the last experience.
Do you think the struggles of the last 2 years helps with that complacency? Helps your guys not overlook anybody maybe?
I do. We talked about it on the radio show last night, and I haven't really mentioned it all that much because I feel like the guys I don't really feel like they've acted in a way that I've needed to address it. And I think they have an understanding that how challenging and how difficult things can be if you're not successful. But they also know that we're good now, and we need to stay hungry and make sure that we continue to improve and do well.
You got 6 games left in the regular season. There's a little event in March that everybody wants to get to. When do you mention or discuss possibilities of making the tournament, or is it still the tunnel focus for your guys?
So we probably about a month ago we talked about it, and I don't necessarily know if every fan knows how the NCAA tournament works, to be honest with you, in terms of at-large bids and automatic bids and the field of 68. And so I'm positive our guys don't all know. So we went through the exact minutia of how it works, and some examples of teams who have gotten in and seemed undeserving, or didn't get in and seemed deserving, and how much speculation there is about it. There's a bracketology before the season starts. It seems absurd. But so we just talked about trying to focus and not worrying about it as much as you possibly can, even though I know they're going to see it even more than I do. And just that it doesn't really mean anything until that Sunday. It really doesn't. And so there's one sure way to get in. That's winning the conference tournament. We're not there yet. So the other thing you can do is just have the best record you can possibly have.
This team keeps growing. You were an inexperienced group last year, and certainly inexperienced the year before. What is the difference with so much experience now, so many games under your belt?
I think just being tested. We've been in games where we've had leads early. We've been in games where we've been down early. Games where we've had to fight back and claw back. games where other teams have fought back and clawed back. So I think just the experience itself and being in different positions like that and just knowing how to overcome adversity is definitely the biggest help with that.
George Mason is a team that just a week ago came into the city, beat VCU. They were about a 15-point favorite. Have you guys talked about maybe the not overlooking George Mason? We got to play our game, or do you just, not discuss that at all?
I think the biggest thing that we kind of talk about with coaches is that we're not worried about really who we play. We know that we're a good team and we can compete with pretty much anybody. So we're not really focused on them themselves. Obviously, we know they're a good team and they're going to come in with giving 100% effort, and they're a confident group, which definitely helps them. But if we play our basketball, we'll get the job done, and we all know that.
Does that stem from the early success that you guys have had, at the beginning of the season that kind of manifested into conference play?
Definitely, that makes it a lot easier for us. But I think just in basketball, you got to focus on yourself. You can't really focus on too much what other people are doing. When you worry about yourself, that's when you win games.
Kind of along those lines, had the struggles of the last 2 years maybe helped you guys in your approach for this year? Just, that extra emphasis that you just kind of are programmed to not overlook anybody?
Yeah. I think we were kind of one of those teams that people kind of knew last year not to overlook. We had good players. We were going to come and compete. And so we know if you do that, you leave opportunity for the other team to come in and win games. I think a little bit of the struggles that we had early on kind of fueled us, made us a little hungrier to get wins and make sure we don't overlook teams.
NCAA is right around the corner. Is it reasonable to set that as a goal, as a realistic goal at this point, or it's still a ways?
I think as a group, we don't want to look at that overall tournament as itself. We're kind of, I know it's pretty cliche, we're worried about the next game. We think if we keep winning the next game, you'll find yourself there.
What do you remember about the last game with George Mason? Why did it get so high scoring? Did you just kind of get caught up in a back and forth, put points on the board?
He made a lot of tough shots. The kid Green, he lit us up. He made a lot of tough shots. I would say we played pretty good defense on him. He made a lot of finishes over Grant. We had a decent amount of turnovers that allowed them to get easy buckets, stuff like that. And then they got to stretch the game out. They started fouling us a little earlier than most teams would. They stretched the game out, and obviously when you have the lead, you don't want to foul on our end. So kind of giving up easy buckets like that and then having to go make free throws.
Is it safe to say he won't get 39 tonight?
We got Blake back. I'm pretty sure Blake's a little determined to make sure that doesn't happen, so we'll see.
The other day against VCU, in what ways did it kind of break the tension for you guys to build an early lead, to get it to 26-13 and maybe make sure they had to catch you guys?
I think anytime you jump out too early, it's a good thing. But then at the same time, it's a bad thing. The other team's getting a lot hungrier. Obviously, they're going to increase the press, as VCU always does. But when they're down, obviously, they're going to pick it up that much more. The refs start to look the other way a little bit, but that is what it is. So I think building the early lead definitely gave us a lot of confidence, especially seeing the ball go in on a couple of threes. And then Grant had success inside, which he hasn't been able to do that much in the past couple of games against VCU. Obviously, earlier this year, he played really well. But in the past couple of games, he hasn't been able to get position on the inside and stuff like that. And so when he's able to do that, it makes it a lot easier on us.
Is it a noticeable difference in the atmosphere? I mean, is that something you guys notice, just separated by a year? Do you notice that noticeable difference in the locker room? Same guys, but just what winning can do?
Yeah, everybody's a lot more happy. I think the biggest thing you see is the crowd. Obviously, with a VCU game, it's going to be hyped up, but they've been out here supporting us in all our home games. It's good to see. And then February, when that time comes around, you start to get excited. It is what it is, but it's good to win games now.
Grant mentioned that Coach Mooney said to you guys after Saturday's win, we can't let this game be our season.
Right.
How have the practices and the conversations been since the VCU game to not make that game be your season?
It's behind us now, honestly. I think with practice, we pretty much have a routine schedule with every game, every new team that we see. So practice kind of is what it is, but I don't think anybody's harping over it. Anybody's really reflecting over the win or what they did really well. I think we know that we're locked in for Mason, and that's just kind of what it is.
Plus now, when you start the season, you want W's, but now you're in the back 25%. You can see what is available to you. You're 3/4 of the way through the season. there are lots of things you can see that are available to you now that maybe you would not have seen halfway through the season.
Yeah, like you said, the main thing is W's. I think we all knew what was capable, or what we were capable of coming into the year, and then I think we come out and execute. We've done a really good job of that.
Coach mentioned on the talk show last night to make sure you guys are plowing through the monotony of February, meaning game, 2 practices, game, day off, 2 practices, et cetera, et cetera. Do you feel that at all is any different even from the last couple of years when you weren't winning games?
No, it's definitely a routine, and I think that's something we've harped over since the summer. Like we stated, in the summer we were doing a lot of basic defensive stuff. So you drill it, and you get tired of it. But you got to learn to just that's what's going to get you better. So obviously we're kind of just knowing that this routine of ours, it's what's worked for us, and we're just going to keep sticking to it.
Anything else? I'm sorry, guys. Jump.
How do you like your role, I guess, this year being, I guess, a traditional point guard as opposed to having to score 20, 25 points a night like you kind of did last year?
I mean, it's the life of a point guard. If you ask any point guard, they love it. I mean, that's what it is. You don't want to go out there and say you have to score a certain amount or have to get a certain amount of assists. You just want to go out there and win. So as the job of the point guard, you got to make sure everybody's going. You got to find yourself ways to get going as well. But that's just the life.